radio, glowing magic transistor radio, glowing magic transistor.
Hello, YouTube and YouTubettes. Welcome to another Beach Boys related album review. Today I'm going to review the Stephen Kalinich album, A World of Peace Must Come. This was recorded on August 22nd, 1969. I guess it was all in one day. And it was recorded in Brian Wilson's house, but it wasn't released until 2008. Produced by Brian Wilson and Stephen Kalinich. The songwriting credits music written by Brian Wilson and poetry by Stephen Kalinich. The first time I heard anything from this was some kind of bootleg that was recording sessions from 1969. I think it was a Brothers Records series bootlegged, and a lot of 2020 sessions and other things. And the title track, no, not the title track, it was one called America, I Know You was on that. And then I heard on the Brian Wilson songwriter documentary that there had been an album that was recorded, and eventually I downloaded it and owned it I guess it was a couple of years ago. I first heard of Stephen Kalinich through his songwriting collaborations with the Beach Boys. He wrote some songs with Dennis Wilson, like Little Bird and Be Still. And he wrote some with Brian Wilson. I think California Feelin' was his lyrics. And maybe some others that I can't think of off the top of my head. The album cover is a scratch pad, left and right, with a filtered photo of Stephen Kalinich playing guitar. Very simple, but catches the eye. And I give this album cover a 9 out of 10. Now on to the songs.
World of peace must come.
The first track is called A World of Peace Must Come, and that's all there is to it. It's just an intro to the album. I really do like it. It's very beautiful, and I give it a 7.4.
Candy Face Lane.
Track number 2 is called Candy Face Lane. This is just poetry, just spoken word. There's no music behind it, no tune. It's kind of cool, the effect on his voice with an echo, and just very poetic lyrics. You can listen to them to decipher the meaning of it. Probably some, philosophical thing that he believes in. I gave it low score on the hook, but high on the poetry, and I give this one a 7.7.
I am waiting for tomorrow, and in it hope to find the meaning of my life.
Track number 3 is called I Am Waiting, the Birth of God. This is another one with no music to it, just a weird effect on his voice. It's kind of cool. It's like his regular voice with like a double of like a lower effect, and it's another highly poetic song. It's hard to decipher, but it kind of sounds like mystery religion kind of stuff to me, like sun enlightenment kind of stuff. But another interesting poem. I gave it high on the poetry side, and this one gets an 8.0.
Feeling no guilt or shame.
Track number 4 is called The Deer, the Elk, the Raven. A beautiful track. This actually has some music to it with an acoustic guitar and then some other sound effects. And he sings the melody, or the poetry this time, and it kind of has a Middle Ages folk kind of sound, or at least what I imagine that to be. So really cool. Another poetic lyric that is, you'd have to listen to it. I'm not going to try to explain because I'd have to listen to it more to kind of figure out what it means. But one of the cool things about abstract lyrics is that, you know, you can try to figure it out yourself. But I really enjoy this song. It's low on the lyrical hook, low on the catchiness, but high on everything else. And I give this one a 7.8.
Poems can never make adequate explanations for man and his many hesitations.
Track number 5
and his
is
constant
called The
deviation
Magic
from what is
Hand.
real.
I love the xylophone, I don't know what you call that at the beginning, or music box sound with him talking. And then Brian Wilson, I believe, is sings this beautiful, haunting thing. And then Stephen Kalinich starts the poetry.
They love me through wooden
Based
eyes.
on the title,
The tree of
again,
love
and I
in
don't
one
want to
heart
speculate
lies.
because I haven't
The
dug deep
bough
into these
brushes
lyrics.
gently along the
I kind of
ground,
wonder if
for
there's
waiting
Eastern
souls long to
mysticism
touch
and
it.
mystery
It's
schools kind
mystical
of
and deep and sorely
philosophy in
needing,
these things.
and cautious and
Definitely
slow
kind
to
of new
constant
agey,
heeding,
but
and has
as
been
far as the
eternally
sound of it,
pleading.
I think it's beautiful. And I
It
think
lies in
another
deserts and in the
well
sand,
worded
in mountains
poetry
one can sense the hand,
poem kind
the
of
hand that
thing, and
molded
I
shelf
give it
like
an
shelf below it in the
8.2.
higher shelf.
Let me tell you.
Track number 6 is called Lonely Man, and this has, he actually sings this poetry again with some guitar behind it. And I assume Stephen Kalinich is the one playing guitar because on the front cover he has a guitar on the picture. So, and Brian Wilson sings some backing vocals that are really, really cool and haunting. Another kind of medieval folk kind of sound. And lyrically, again, I'm not exactly sure. He's talking about somebody, and it could be the Maharishi or somebody like that. I don't know. But another beautiful song, and I give this one an 8.0.
All right, Steve.
Track number 7 is a lyric that would be more familiar to a lot of Beach Boys fans if you are familiar with the Friends album, because the lyrics are similar to, I mean, it's the same poem, but I think the lyrics are a little different. It's Be Still that Dennis sings. And when I'm listening to the poem, it's the lyrics are not exactly the same, but there's a lot of similarities. But at the very beginning of this track, it's Brian kind of doing studio chatter with Stephen Kalinich and just saying, "Hey, this is on Friends, isn't it?" You know, which is kind of weird. And then you got this, you know, I'm a sucker for the sound of the organ, so I love the music. I mean, it's very subtle, but it's incredible. Lyrically, you know, I'm not digging too deep into these lyrics, but it sounds kind of like evolution to me, the idea of evolution. You know, just when he's talking about know that you are and know that things are getting better and better. And so that's kind of, I think, the message of the song. Again, another fantastic sound, and I give this one a 7.8.
Hello, I'm a rich man, but my riches are not of gold.
Track number 8 is called Walk Along with Love, and kind of a mystical that love is the power behind everything in creation. It kind of reminds me of the John Lennon song called Love, I think. The one that goes, "Love is real, real is love." Anyway, so it's kind of this hippie idea, hippie trippy idea of love and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of a nice lyric, a little, and he sings it once again. All his melodies are very simple. They're very similar too, and he's playing guitar on it. But I give this one an
A
8.0.
world of peace must come. This is the name of the first part of this album, which
Track number 9 is called A World of Peace Must Come, the title track once again. And, you know, his melodies are all very similar. There's a little more to this one than the previous melodies that he sings, but it kind of goes back to the same kind of medieval folk, same melody that he's been doing. Um, and this is kind of about another hippie message of world peace and anti-war kind of a song. And so quite beautiful. One thing I note is that he talks about the song first, almost like he's doing it live or, doing an interview or something. But he's talking to the listener that has bought the album. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like him back in 1969. He doesn't sound any older. But at the same time, I've heard some interviews of him recently, and he sounds pretty much the same, so it could be stuff that was added before 2008. I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm going to guess that he said that back in 69, which is an interesting idea to talk about the upcoming song in the album itself. So, but I do really enjoy this one. It's really pretty, and I give it an 8.0.
If you knew that death was a thought, would you let it dissolve?
Track number 10 is called If You Knew, and this has a really cool drum beat. That's something unique from the album, with kind of a tribal sort of drum beat. And the lyric is another one that's kind of about love, I guess. And, if you knew that something causes something negative, that you would do the opposite, kind of an idea. And just another really cool poem with another interesting backing track, the drumming and stuff. And I give this one an 8.2.
America, I Know You.
Track number 11 is called America, I Know You. And as I said before, this is the first song track I heard from this album, and I really do enjoy this. This is definitely my favorite track on the album. The music in the background is interesting. It's kind of got that American pioneer country flavor to it, and lyrically it's just about America and just the beauty of the nature and things. So it's a really nice idea, and I give this one an 8.8.
World of peace must come.
Track number 12 is just a repeat of track number 1. This is called Outro, A World of Peace Must Come. So I'll give it the same score of a 7.4. The last song on the album is called Leaves of Grass, and I misspoke earlier. This is my favorite track on the album. It almost sounds like a terrible recording, but I think it gives it a nice effect. This one has a melody that is not like the other melodies. It could almost be a pop song if they tried to produce it that way. But I like it the way it is. It gives it this artistic, surreal kind of flavor and great lyrics. This is the best all-around tune, and I give this one a 9.4. The album flow gets a 10 out of 10. This is definitely meant to be listened to from beginning to end. It's a very artistic kind of album, so it's not, the scores are not as high as maybe I like them, because they don't do well on catchiness or even a lyrical hook. But just about every track gets a 10 on the musical artsiness that has music and the lyrical poetry. So that's where this album really shines. So now I will pull out my handy dandy computer and calculate my formula. And this album gets an 8.33 out of 10 Thank you and have a wonderful day.
I love you. America, I know you. I hear you crying. Crying to those who live in cities, to those whose hearts are broken, to those whose souls are torn. Crying, come my children, see me. In my winters, in my summers, in my autumns, in my springs. Touch me, feel me, grasp